I'm very proud of where this organization has come to. 40 years is a lot of years, but it went by really fast when you make progress every year.
Right.
And it's continued to make a difference in the community. I get joy out of seeing each project, and I'm really enthused about this. The Bridges program, that's really exciting. Getting young kids into the construction, learning the trades, setting a target for themselves as they're going through their high school training process, and making a difference in the community at the same time. We need to have leadership that make a difference, and I think you've accomplished that.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. I'm very proud.
I appreciate that, Keith, and it's all thanks really to an outstanding team that we've got working, whether they're lending, whether they're counseling, whether they're building. We've got some really talented folks here, and it's a pleasure for me to work with them every day. That's a testimony to, I think, a city that's being responsive to the challenges that the neighbors are facing. And that's the sort of partnership, between the city and its residents that we take advantage of every day in terms of being a part of that team and trying to make things better.
Well, I think we can thank you, Noel, too, for the last 20 years.
Developing homes, when we're looking at subsidizing the purchase of a home by a family, when we're looking at investing maybe more than the market would conventionally into fixing something up, it's not because we don't know how to manage money or those resources. It's because in a lot of cases, some of these older neighborhoods and near downtown neighborhoods, or even as we look about the broader region, rural neighborhoods and other communities, sometimes the market doesn't do an adequate job of reinvesting in the infrastructure, whether it's the major systems of that house, the furnace, the roof, the windows, those sorts of things. And so the work that we're doing is oftentimes trying to undo disinvestment that may have been decades in the making. Someday, maybe 40 years from now, maybe sooner, maybe some of the neighborhoods that we work in, those mechanisms will start working again in a market sense. And some for-profit developer will say, well, why is NeighborWorks doing that? Let the market take care of this. And I'm like, that's great. That's our cue to say, this neighborhood has won, right?
Yep.
We can move on to some other area and start doing our work there. But until that happens, until the last investor stops taking cash out of a community and putting it into another community, until we have a replacement cycle of the infrastructure of that home, the siding, the windows, the roof, the heating and cooling facilities of that home, until those are getting done on a regular basis, keeping up with the energy costs and making that building an efficient and safe place for those families to live, whether they're renting or owning, until that stuff just happens naturally, I think there's going to be a role for an organization like ours that reaches into that gap between what ought to be and what's happening. And we sometimes have to invest some public dollars in there, some philanthropic dollars in there, and our own revenue that we earn from the other programs that we're doing to close that gap.